it's Kate and Carl from Simplify Consulting. I'm here to talk to you today about our white paper. Carl, can you just give us an overview of the white paper?
So we wanted to produce a white paper that was focused around wealth operations, looking at it from three perspectives, looking at how technology is going to shape and evolve operations over the future, how the shape of the workforce might evolve and change, and the skills associated with the people in wealth operations roles might evolve. And we wanted to look at it in terms of what the customer demand was. So what do customers really want from their service providers and their product providers going forwards? And how's that going to shape the future of wealth operations?
And what do you think is kind of the most challenging thing that we have found for wealth ops over the coming years?
I think we're already in the midst of some element of technology starting to enable integration across different providers and different partners. But undoubtedly in certain areas like transfers, we still see this challenge of getting hold of market adoption. We still see challenges of getting counterparties to communicate with each other in a timely way. And whilst technology's come a long way through APIs and messaging protocols, there's still lots more that can be done. And that will begin to address some of the frustrations that people see in wealth around some of those journeys that in other industries are just so much quicker. And I think as we look to evolve and enhance the customer experience, and Consumer Duty will certainly play a big role in doing that, we need to take on board some of the opportunities that technology will bring through APIs, through artificial intelligence, through blockchain, that can actually start to improve some of those journeys to enhance the customer experience.
I think the interesting thing though is, from speaking to some of the senior leaders in the industry, is that human interaction is still going to be prevalent, isn't it? It's not the robots are taking over the world in terms of operations. People will still be at the heart of operations.
Yeah, the customer research was really interesting, and then that was enforced really by our conversations with senior operations leads around the industry, all reinforcing the point that people want to talk to people, and that human interaction is really, really important, specifically and especially for those journeys that need empathy and sympathy. So a bereavement journey, for example, where you'd want to have that human interaction to be able to discuss the experience and discuss the challenges and discuss the opportunities associated with that process. But also, if you look more broadly, more holistically about that, there's also those touch points that you get and those emotional intelligence opportunities you have with people in human interactions that computers just don't have when they're very, very transactional. And where we do see some of the frustrations with technology, particularly from our customer research and the likes of chatbot, which was universally disliked by most people, because they are so transactional, even with the advent of artificial intelligence and machine learning, that actually people don't often get the answer that they're looking for, and it's much quicker to get that from a human than it is to get it from a computer.
And just touching on the people, what is a career going to look like in ops in the future?
It's a great opportunity, isn't it, actually? I think we're already seeing, and again through our conversations with wealth operations leaders, we're seeing people recruit more diverse skills, more experienced people into those contact centre roles and those back office administration roles, partially because what straight through processing has done, and technology in the past 5 to 10 years has already done, is eliminated some of those low value jobs that are actually the keyboard crunching, the number crunching activities, the widget processing that is now undertaken by systems, by robotics, by artificial intelligence, actually allowing people in contact centre and back office functions to invest their time in escalations and more technical roles and managing, coordinating those systems to facilitate customer interactions, to actually changing the role from less widget processing to more oversight, risk management, control management, etc. So the opportunities are great. And also I think what we're starting to see is, as a consequence of the pandemic, those boundaries of location being broken down as well. And so in the past, if you were based in a certain region within the UK, you would only recruit within a 5, 10 mile, 20 mile radius of that location. Actually, what you can do now, as a consequence of hybrid working and remote working, is get access to talent that you couldn't ever get access to before, making the market much more diverse, and the opportunity to bring a really unique set of skills into your business that much greater.
But I suppose comes with the challenge of, how do you build a team? How do you manage remote working and those in an office environment. And I guess one thing that was highlighted in our white paper is the use of the metaverse.
Very good, Kate.
Thank you.
It's an interesting opportunity, isn't it? This is a real area where technology can be an enablement to people still interacting and still conversing and still meeting, but in a virtual sense, where those location boundaries aren't barriers to actually getting people together anymore. The metaverse is really interesting, and as it becomes more mainstream, we'll start to see its use not only in terms of dealing with customers on a day-to-day basis, for those of a certain demographic, I suspect, but also in the office environment. The concept of a virtual environment will grow even more as people and their avatars can interact and communicate and train and be coached in an environment that they could never do before.
Very interesting. And why operations? Why did we focus on that?
So we're really passionate about having a focus and a lens on operations, and our Wealth Ops Live conference in October is designed to really focus the light on operations functions and the impact that technology and customer demand and the evolution of service will have in the industry over the next 5 to 10 years. We do a lot of work in the operations space and feel it's always that area that's doesn't necessarily get the attention it deserves. It's the engine room of everything that goes on in that organisation, and actually, as in the future, it will be that much greater opportunity to look at it from the perspective of competitive advantage. And the companies that do really well in the future and service their customers better than others will drive revenue and drive growth and drive profitability. So not only do we want the Wealth Conference to be focused on that, we wanted our ops paper to be focused on that. We come across such brilliant, tenacious, enthusiastic people within operations who have such interesting things to say about what's happening in the marketplace. And through the paper and through the conference, it's a great opportunity to hear what they've got to say.
Thank you, Carl. And as Carl mentioned, Wealth Ops Live is on the 12th of October at Glaziers Hall in London. It'd be fantastic to see you all there. We're launching basically the results of the white paper at the event. So we're having a lot of panel discussions and different industry leaders attending to talk through their thoughts, their views and our primary research. So sign up on our website and we really hope to see you there. And thank you very much for joining us.